Tarek and Tony, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I've got you, Dave.
Yes,
Okay.
I can hear you, Dave.
Good. Steve? Okay. We're going to go ahead and get started then. So I don't know where you rank laying out circular stairs from 0 to 10 on difficulty, but anyway, we're going to show you how we can hopefully make life a little easier when you do this. Now, one thing we're going to do is we're going to do it in CAD, but also I've got an Excel spreadsheet here. And this Excel spreadsheet, this will be something to check against the CAD to see if everything's going right. So the way we described it, the description of the course was that you needed these dimensions in order to do the stair. Now, this can either come from an architectural drawing or from field dimensions. So you get your floor-to-floor measurement, your outside radius, your degree turn, width of the stair, your maximum riser height, and the stringer width. So we'll use this one for now. And depending on how many questions we have time, we could do one if you have one that you need to be done. So I'm going to just copy this part here and bring that into the CAD program, edit, paste. Okay. And so we have that data there. So the floor-to-floor is 123.5. So I'm just going to draw a line and put on ortho, so I'll do it straight. 123.5. Now, if you don't have CAD and ortho, it's basically when you draw things in 90-degree straight lines. If you ever had to send your kid to a doctor to get their teeth straightened, you send them to an orthodontist. Ortho means straight. All right, so then the maximum riser height is 7. So to figure out how many risers we need, we're going to use the measure command. And what the measure command is going to do, it's going to hatch every 7 inches. So the specified length, I must do 7 and enter. So it started down here at the bottom, and these nodes are 7 inches apart. And at the top, it's a little bit shorter. But what we wanted to do was find out how many of these little nodes we have to know how to divide the thing up. So I'm going to use the erase command. I'm going to put a window around. Now, anything you totally surround, it will erase. I didn't totally surround the line, so the line is still intact. It did not light up, but the nodes did, and there's 17 of them. Okay? So 17 nodes means we have how many risers? 18 risers. Okay. So now we'll divide the line, and I'll type in 18. Okay, so now we don't know what that maximum, we don't know what the riser height is, but we know that it's less than 7 inches, okay? So we can check that real quick. Let's just do a linear dimension. I'll put the snap on here. We'll go from this node to this node, and that's 6 7/8. And the riser height is 6 14/16, which translates to 6 7/8. So far, so good. All right, now we want to get the bottom line. So the outside radius of this stair is 125 inches. So I'm just going to go over and draw a circle, and then just type in 125. And that should be a circle on a 125-inch radius. I'll check that, and you should always check your work as you go, because you don't want to be designing this whole thing and find out you started off with the wrong stuff to start with. So 10'5" is 125 inches. What I'll let's do this so we don't get confused here. I'm going to just change everything to inches. So I'm just going to go in here and click on and modify the primary units from architectural, and I'll just change it to fractional. Okay, that way we'll match what's with the spreadsheet. So radius is 125. All right, so now we want to find out what that outside stringer line is on the plan radius. So it's a 135-degree turn, so I got to start with a line. So I'm just going to I'm going to do a line command, and I'm going to go from the center of the circle to the top quadrant, north, south, east, west quadrants here. And I'll go up to here, and now I've got my starter line. So that's the top of the stair. Next thing I want to do, someone's got a speaker on? getting some feedback here. All right, now I'm going to do a rotate command, and I'm going to set up the ending line. So I'm going to rotate this line over, but I'll specify the base point, which is the end point. At the bottom, you see it says copy and reference. I'm going to use both of those. C for copy because I want to keep the original line. And R for reference, I'm going to have the computer figure out what 135 degree is. So I'll hit R for reference.
Okay.
So the reference angle is 0. I'll right-click there. And the new angle is 135. Okay? So there's my end of my stair. There's the beginning of my stair. Everybody see that? Everybody follow that? Any questions? So we'll use the rotate command and use those two options, copy and reference. And start with 0 and then reference to the angle that you need. Okay. So now I'm just going to trim so I can either select the objects or right-click to select everything. I'm just going to select everything and then just trim that off. And there's my basically outside stringer line on plan. Now, let's double-check that and make sure that the angle is right. So angular dimension from here to here, 135 degrees. Okay. So far, so good. Now, the stringer is 2 inches, so I'll do an offset command because we're going to be working to the inside line because that's where the stair's attached, right? So 2-inch offset. I'll go there to there. Then it says the width of the stair is 36. So I'll offset again and do 36, enter, and I'll offset this line to there, and I'll do the outside stringer line too, so I'll also get that on there. So offset 2 inches. Okay, so now we got the plan view of the stringers. All right, next thing we want to do is we want to lay out the baseline of this stair layout. So I'm going to move this thing out of the way here. This is in the way of my baseline. Move this up a little bit. And I'm going to dimension the inside of the stringer because that's where the stair is going to attach. So let me go up here to arc length and pick the inside stringer line. And the arc length is 289 and 13/16. Okay, let me write that down so I don't mess it up when I type in the line. So 289 13/16. Okay, so now I'm going to draw the baseline that long. We're doing everything exploded. So I'm drawing a line from the end point here, and I want to type in 289-13/16. That's how you enter fractions. You see in the bottom corner there? That's how you enter fractions in the end. All right, so there's the line. Still interfering with my thing over here. So let me move that. Okay. Now I'm going to divide the bottom line into how many segments? We had 18 risers, so we have what? 17 treads, right? So 17, and that's my tread layout. Now let's see if that's right. Let me do a linear dimension from the node to node. 17 and 1/16. Let's go back to the Excel spreadsheet and see 17 and 1/16. So the outside curved tread width, that's what it is, 17 and 16. Okay? Now, if you'd like to have this Excel file, you're welcome to it. You just shoot me an email, dave@fabcad.com, and I'll send it to you. Anyway, so now let's draw. I'm going to erase this. We don't need this dimension anymore or this one. I'm going to draw a line from here over and draw a line from here up and then fillet that. That's my tread line and my riser line. And now I'm going to move it up to the top. Move. I did this right. Make sure that's exactly where it needs to be. Okay, now I'm going to use a command that's unique to AutoCAD 2012. And I'm going to do copy. And I'll do it the other way too, but I'm going to show you this way first. I'm going to select the objects. And then the base point, same as you would any copy command. And I can do a multiple copy and pick the end point of each bottom here. But I'm going to, you see at the bottom it says array. I type A for array. It asks me for the number of items to array. Well, that'll be 17. and then I just click there, and boom. Wow. Steps are in. Click. Okay, that's for 2012. Now I'll undo that.
Yeah, I got it.
Show you how you do it if you don't have 2012.
Oh.
I'll just copy. There's two ways of doing it. Actually, I'll show you three ways. So I'll copy, and we'll just pick the base point, and then I'll turn ortho off. And we'll just go to the snap to the end point and just walk the dog down this way. You do it that way. Walk the dog.
That was full?
Ah, missed it. Let me move that. It had to be the last one, right? From there to there. Okay, so we're right on time here, okay? There's another way you can do this. I'm going to erase this. You can do this with earlier versions of CAD. It's either FabCAD or AutoCAD, earlier versions. We can use the array command. So I'm going to do array, and I'm going to do a rectangular array. And it's going to be one row and 17 columns. I'm going to select these two pieces here, and then the angle of the array, I don't know what that is, but I'm just going to snap from the end point there to there, and then I've selected the object. I'll preview it. Oops, what did I do wrong? Oh yeah, I got to do the spacing. So hit escape. The column offset, I don't know what that is either, but I know it's going to be from here to there. Now I'll preview it. There we go. And now it's done. I click OK. So now I got my steps for the outside stringer. Now let's go ahead and let's do the inside stringer next, and then we'll do the stringer lines and draw those out and get all that stuff done. And then we'll do the plan view with the step trace. So now I'm going to copy this line with these nodes here because the finished floor height's the same for inside and outside, theoretically, if the building's built straight. Okay, so we'll just go down here and drop this down here. All right, so now what we want to do is get the line for the inside stringer. All right, so the line for the inside stringer is going to be this arc line right here. So I'm going to go in and do a arc length of this line, this arc length there. And that's 205 inches even, which is nice to have. So I'm going to draw a line here, 205, 205 enter. Okay, and then we'll divide this by how many? How many segments? 17, right? Same number. It's going to be a little tighter because it's on the inside. Now I'm going to draw a line from the node here, and draw a line from the node here, and fill it that. Okay, now let's see what this is. So let's go in and do the length of the inside. 12 1/16 is the length of the inside step tread. So inside step tread is 12 1/16. See that in the Excel program? And that matches up with what we came up with here. So no, I mean, they both can be wrong, but you know that if you're checking one against the other, that your chances are good that you probably got it right. So I'm going to erase that dimension. Don't need that anymore. And I'm going to move this up to the top because I'm going to need to detail my stringers here. I'll go from here up to here. And then I'm just going to cheat and use my latest version. I'm going to select the object. And base point, I'll start back here. And I'll hit A for array and pick this point here. The number of items, 17. And then boom, boom. All right, so go down here, and I'm done there. Okay. So then I can draw my line here. I'll do this one first. And then let's offset. Say we want the stringer to end 3 inches from the bottom riser. Do that. And then I want to offset. Say I want the top of the stringer an inch above my nosing. So I just do 1 inch and go here. And then I want to stay on a 12-inch stringer. I do offset and do 12. And now I've got the top line and bottom line of my stringer. All right. Then I can do the fillet, and I can fillet here to there, and from here, I don't need the bottom line anymore, to there, and from here to there. See that? Isn't that cool? Okay? That's all there is to it. You get your angles and all that stuff for this. You could print this out full size if you wanted to do it, for laying out the stairs. If you got guys who don't really know how to lay stairs out, they don't need to, as long as you know. As long as you know how to do it, that's the important thing. So you could, that's what a lot of the customers do. They'll lay that stringer flat, print it out on a large sheet of paper, and they'll lay out the stair that way. Okay? And then you do whatever you do at the top, you just do that. You do the same thing for this stringer here. I'll come back to that in a minute. Now, let's lay out the plan of this thing. So I'm going to go in here and erase the dimensions. We still got this. So I'm going to draw a line from the end point here, end point there. And then, actually, I should draw, wait a minute. Let me do this. I'm going to draw a line from here. That's the stair line. So I've got one line laying over top of the other. But what we're going to do is we're going to array this thing. So I'm going to go back in here and do the array command, and I'm going to go to polar array this time. I'm going to select the object, which is just this one line here. Okay? And then I want the total number of items. Now, I've got to get this right. There's 17 treads, but you've got a start line and an end line. So it's going to take, I think, 19, if I recall properly. 19 lines. We can check it when we're done. And it's 135 degrees, right? That's the turn. And the center of the array is the center of the circle, and it's all the same. Let's preview it. Okay, and let's right-click, and we're done. Now let's see if this is right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy out this line here, this line here, this line here, and this line here, and move it over. Then I'm going to trim and get my step tread, and then I'm going to measure these. So the arc length of the inside, where'd it go? Went the wrong way. Let me erase. Take those snap off because it's trying to snap somewhere. The arc length of this line here is 11 3/8. And the arc length of this one here is 16 1/8. Is that right? Let's go back to the... No, so I got too many lines. Let me go back. I rate it wrong. All right, so let's go back. It was 18, not 19. So let's erase the array. Just erase. And I'm just going to use the fence. I've never used this. It's pretty cool. Because what you can do, you turn off ortho, and you can just erase along like that. Let me get rid of it. So I'm going to draw a line. See that? I'll do it again later. Use a fence. You got crossing, you got window, you got fence. Fences are great. It's great for trimming too. All right. So let's array it again, and let's make it 18 objects. Select the object, which is this. The center is the same. The degrees are the same. Let's preview it and accept. And let's try it again. So let's copy. And trim. I just select right-click, so I don't have to pick a trim line. I just right-click, and it picks everything on the screen as a trim line, and it just trims to the nearest line. So I'll do an arc length here, 17 1/16, and an arc length here, 12 1/16. Let's see if that's right. 12 1/16. 17 1/16. Bingo. Okay, we got it. We got it there, and we got the same thing here. Let's double check that. Linear. 17 1/16 on that one. Linear. 12 1/16 on that one. So you got your plan view. You got your elevation view exploded of this stair. We've just laid this sucker out. Any questions? Now, let me show you something real quick here. If you've got auto rail, and a lot of you out there do, you can use stair rail program to do the same thing. It's a lot quicker this way. So we'll go in and do, I'll click stair rail, import a template, and I'll pick the, sorry. So I'll pick the stair layout with stringer. So stair layout with stringer. Okay. Click OK. So I want to get my height, and my height is 123.5. So I'll put that. So 123.5, and my length is, we should have, that's on the drawing. Don't know what that is. I don't think it gives it to me here. Well, it does actually. It must be the 289 and 13/16. So that's using that formula. So that's the same. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Let me just get out of this a second. Let's just double check this line here. Linear. 289, 13/16. Okay, so we go back to this. And 123.5. 289-13/16. Okay, and we'll just use these railings here. I'll just draw, pick a point, and I've got my stair. This is laid out, the stairs and everything automatically. All I'm doing here is laying that. The railing is not good because the railing, this railing length is based on the outside, the inside of the stringer, which is not where the railing goes. The railing is probably going to go in the center line of the stringer. So, but let's check the, let's see if the dimensions here are right. 17 and the 16th, and I think this one is 6 and 7/8. I believe those are right. 7 and the 16th, and 6 and 7/8. Okay, so you can lay it out with that. Now, if you want to do the railing, to get the railing right, you've got to go in and offset this. If you wanted the center line of the railing to be in the center line of the stringer, you'd offset this 1 inch, bring this in here, and then you just measure that. So I just go in here to arc length, and the center line of the stringer is 292 and 3/16. So then, if you're building a stair, for instance, if you're just building the railing and not the stair, you probably still need to lay the stair out in CAD so you can figure out how long to make the railing. So then you go in, and I'll import a template, and I'll use, I'm going to use one called stringer railing. So the stringer railing is here, and I'll use that same height, but I'll change the length to 292/3/16, and then I can adjust how far back I want this thing to set if I want to make it set further or ahead on the, depending on what the design requirements are. And I click next, click draw, and I'll just pop it in over here. And now I've got my railing all my railing data here. So I've got my cut list for my railing here, and then the railing layout with dimensions here. And that's the right length of the railing because you're working to the center line of the stringer rather than the edge. Okay? Questions? Martha, any questions on the chat?
No, sir.
Any questions, anybody? Am I too fast? Is there anything you want to go back over, like the arrays or how we did the array of this? Okay, this is going to be recorded too. You can go back and do it. Also, we have on our website they're all free movies. If whether you're a customer or not, that gives you a circular stair. There is a lesson on doing layout of circular stairs too. And then again, of course, you can feel free to send me an email. I'll send you this Excel spreadsheet if you think that'll help you. Does this think will help you make layout stuff faster by using these techniques here? I mean, we used to take forever to lay out a circular stair. When we started playing with this and learned all the tips and tricks, it worked out a whole lot quicker. It's all a lot easier. And we used the plan view to help us install, particularly if you have a landing and you split the thing up. We had a restaurant one time was downtown, and we just laid out the openings of the building and figured out the best way to bring this sucker in and screw it in without going out on the job site and dragging this thing all over the job site trying to figure out where it had to go. We just simulated it right on the screen. Cut out a lot of hassle.
Dave?
Yes.
I have a question about the degrees.
Okay.
When I try to put degrees in the stair, I usually try to put whatever they give me in the field, like 35.6 or 35.8, but the computer only gives me numbers, straight numbers, 40, 41, or 35, or 25.
Oh, you don't get the decimals?
No.
Well, let me show you how you do that. You go into your either, if you got a later version of CAD, you go in and just click on this icon here, and this is your Dimension Style Manager, or go to Dimension. Up here, go to Dimension and Dimension Style, and then you just modify the existing one. So I go to see, here's Primary Units tab. See that?
Yes.
Units format, precision, you can go down to as many decimal places as you want. So I could switch it to that one there.
Okay.
And you can do the same thing with fractions. You go to a 2/56 of an inch if you're really in that club. Okay. And then you click OK, close. So now when I take an angle dimension, and you notice right here, it's 60.4.
Yeah.
150.4.
Okay.
So you can adjust your precision when you at your dimension style. You can set. You can do all of that stuff there.
Okay.
And you can make it feet in inches. If you'd rather have feet in inches when you're sending it out to the shop, you can do that. Or here's what you can do. You can do both. You can do architectural and fractional on the same dimension. You go to alternate units. I want to display alternate units. And this is designed primarily for metric. And the multiplier for metric is 25.4. But say, no, I won't do that. I want to do, let's see, my primary units are fractional. My alternate unit, I want to make architectural. Say architectural stack. And I want to set the precision for 16th. And I want the multiplier just to be 1. Because I don't want it, it's going to be the same dimension. Close. So now, when I dimension something, I got both. I got 12 foot, 12 to 16th and 1 foot 16th there or here. I got both dimensions. I got 24 foot 1 and 13 16ths and 289 and 13 16ths.
Good. Oh, it's a little late. We'll have a nice week.
That's great.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? Okay. If you, like I said, if you're doing other issues, like for instance, if you got a second, I'll just show you on our website where these lessons are, because they're free. You're welcome to use them, and show you a little bit, and also show you. You can see our new iPad app we just come out with too. You can take a look at that. But under support and training, we have like freehand drawing using CAD, how to insert a photo and drawing in front of a photo. Here we got a 3D spiral stair layout and design, working with hatches and gradients. Then here's circular stair layout and design. So we have, it's a different, different one, but it's the same basic lesson here on the website. And then we have archives of our webinars that we conduct and working with dimensions and text, and that's where you would have gotten that information about degrees, primary units, how to adjust your dimensioning, printing tips, working with PDFs and photos, customizing CAD. If you deal in metric, how to set that up, customizing, that's creating your own library of parts, gauge simulating, and then basic lesson on stretch, rotate, and scale, how to use those to their best. You got all kinds of little features that built into those commands that most people don't know about. It's like that rotate command. Very few people know that you can just easily create a second rotated line at the exact angle that you want. And that comes in real handy for different things. Okay? Because you can lay out spirals the same way. Okay? Anything else?
Hey, Dave, go back to the original measure command. Could you run that once for me?
Yeah.
I think that's how you laid out a bunch of points in a line.
Yeah. So basically, I'll just draw a line. I'll just draw another thing here. I'll just draw something down here. The measure command is like a hatch thing. So measure, you select the object to measure, and say you want to, say your maximum, you can get away with, say, 7.5 inches maximum riser height. I'll go 7.5. So what this thing does is that from the end of this point here to this node is 7.5 inches. So I'll show you. So from here, we put snap back on. From the end point here to there is 7.5. Now at the top, it may not be 7.5. Not a miracle if it is. See, it's 5 7/16. So what it did was it measured 7.5-inch increments all the way up.
Okay.
So I knew how many. I knew that I could not exceed 7.5 inches on my riser. So then I go through and use the erase command, let the computer count them, and then put a window in so that I know exactly how many nodes. So I got 25, which means I divide this line evenly by 26, and I've got evenly spaced risers, not exceeding whatever I put in on the measure command.
Okay.
That's how you do that. That comes in handy for a lot of different things, but it really comes in handy when you're laying out stairs. And when I had the ironworks, we did circular stairs and spiral stairs. We didn't know how to build a straight stair, but we loved doing these things because nobody else in our area knew how to do them. At least we could figure out a good way of laying them out. It didn't take forever, and we were able to do them right the first time, and so we were real competitive with those. But that was trial and error, learning how to use CAD to develop all this stuff, and then do it that way. And then double checking. You double check and triple check everything to make sure that it's going to work. And we noticed we'd matched everything up. We made sure everything, that this curved outside stringer, the outside, the work points were right. Now you may be going beyond that with a nosing or putting some sort of maybe putting some type of a marble thing or something. Let me just show you how that works real cool too. You can just go in here and say you're putting something like that. Well, you can just do the copy command once you got the first thing done, and then pick the base point, say is there, and then do the same thing. You do array and then say 17, and go from here to there, and you got your whatever type of step tread you have, whether it's a pan for a concrete stair or whatever. You just draw one, and then you just do it, and boom, you're done. Okay. So so you get your basic work points fairly easily by just doing the layouts with this. And like I said, trying to do, and we used to run calculations. We used to run calculator tape like you wouldn't believe, trying to figure out all this stuff. Any other questions? Okay. Well, it's been a pleasure doing this. And like I said, my email is dave@fabcad.com. If another question pops up after we're done here, or if you'd like to get this Excel spreadsheet, I'll be happy to send it to you. And it can help you with, it's just a good check. To basically check dimensions is what they are. To check it against what you're drawing to make sure that you're on time and we got everything to match up. And if it doesn't match up, then you figure out what's wrong and correct it. You want to make sure so you don't have a problem when you go out to the field and try to install it and it doesn't work.
Great. Thank you, Dave.
Okay, you're very welcome.